Well, hello. Today we're going to be talking about this roller coaster with the weird first drop and this weird layout. What the hell is this? This roller coaster is called Great Bear and it's an inverted roller coaster made by B&M, but what makes it so great? I would perhaps call it the OK Bear. This roller coaster takes 2 crowns in the inverted roller coaster category, and the first one is the weirdest layout and the second one is the shortest layout. In this review we're gonna find out if this roller coaster can keep its title as the Great Bear, or will it go down to the Bad Bear, or perhaps just the OK Bear. And I'm gonna try to move on as quickly as possible because I know the viewers' attention spans are a lot shorter these days, so come on, let's go. Firstly, we'll talk about the overall presentation of this ride before you ride the ride, and after that we'll talk about the whole layout and what you experience and feel when you ride the Great Bear, the OK/Mid Bear. And of course Great Bear doesn't even have any theming, it just has the logo and then the white station, but we are at an American theme park, so what can you expect? But the lack of theming doesn't really bother me, it is the coaster layout that matters the most. In terms of landscaping, there's not much to see either, there's just the river and then there's dirt and then a hill. But the Great Bear uses this river to its advantages at the end of the ride, so stay tuned, man. Speaking of Great Bear, let's quickly talk about the roller coaster trains. I really like the look of the roller coaster trains because they have purple, pink and then the yellow. It looks very 80s styled. But then I was thinking, what does these colors have to do with a Great Bear? And then I thought, oh, we are at a chocolate/candy theme park, so that's of course the reason. In terms of comfort, these trains are really okay. They are the typical B&M inverted roller coaster trains and they are just okay. Some riders could feel isolated between these restraints, but these restraints don't do any discomfort when you ride this roller coaster. But I need to mention there's a slight rattle if you ride the back row of Great Bear. And now we've of course made it to the whole ride layout analysis. And while Great Bear goes up its chain lift, let's quickly go over the stats really quick. Go. Great Bear's height is only 90 feet and that is 27 meters, but the drop is 124 feet and that is 38 meters, and the length of this ride is only 2,800 feet, but that is 850 meters, and the maximum speed is 58 miles per hour and that is 93 kilometers per hour, and this roller coaster has 4 inversions. Before going down the first drop, you take this weird helix that surprisingly has some decent G-forces throughout the whole train, and I've never seen this kind of element before first drop, and it makes the first drop look so ugly when you see the helix beside it. And then you go down the first drop, which offers floater airtime for the back row, but not anything in the front row unfortunately. And after that you go into a big vertical loop which offers strong G-forces throughout the whole train. After the awesome vertical loop you fly into the Immelman element. I often describe this element as half vertical loop and half corkscrew. This element hits hard and it gives strong positive G-forces throughout the whole train. After that you dip down and then you fly up into an awesome 0G roll, and this element yet again hits hard and offers strong G-forces throughout the whole train, and you can't go wrong with a B&M 0G roll. And the next section is where Great Bear is very different compared to other B&M inverts. Great Bear flies up and then twists downwards to the left, and then it flies over the whole creek. Twisting downwards to the left and flying over the creek is really great use of terrain. And here you have a short piece of straight track where you can feel the speed on Great Bear. This track session is of course very odd, but it works in its favor for Great Bear. Then the track quickly bends to the left and then turns to the right into a corkscrew inversion. And this corkscrew inversion offers strong G-forces throughout the whole train. This corkscrew inversion is perhaps one of the best corkscrews I've experienced. And after this intense element you can really feel the Great Bear is out of breath. Great Bear slowly flies at a high elevation to the right and then slowly to the left and then into the trim brakes of course. And it is very weird yet funny to fly that slow at a high elevation, and that is of course because Great Bear's station is on top of the hill, and that is of course why the chain lift isn't that tall but the drop is still big. And now we've reached the final part of this video. I'm gonna talk about some pros and cons of this ride, and then I'm gonna give it a score from 1 to 10. Great Bear really has a very short layout, but it is very forceful, and that leaves me with the question, do I prefer short and punchy layouts or longer and more drawn out / less forceful layouts? All of the 4 inversions on Great Bear are really forceful, and then the odd yet awesome low to the ground section over the Spring Creek is also awesome, and then the weird helix and first drop are at best pretty okay. Then the last section after the corkscrew is very boring. It really takes the ride from 100 to 0 real quick, but I also get that the last section is just filler track where the train needs to go to the trim brakes of course, but it still feels weird and a bit awkward. And then of course the biggest con of this ride Offride is its short layout, because it only has around 6 to 7 elements in total, where the weird helix is also counted, and that is why I'm gonna give Great Bear an 8 out of 10. This roller coaster really has a short layout with few elements, but all of the only 6 to 7 elements are very good. They hit different, they have a lot of positive G-forces, and then the turn and straight track over the Spring Creek is also awesome. And that takes us to the end of this video. Have you ridden Great Bear? What are your thoughts on my review? Do you agree? Do you not agree? I don't know, man, but at the end of the day, you could support me a bit, follow, I don't know, just do what you want to do. Bye bye.